We're going to talk about home selling in a down market, or really even home owning in a down market. Now, I'm not calling a down market in California yet. I'm not one of the crash bros. In a way, the crash bros, like the Venture app guy, he was early and sounding the warning a lot, but it is happening in Florida, Texas, Arizona, maybe parts of Vegas. Really, a lot of the places where the builders build a lot of homes, ran up the prices, and now they're undercutting themselves. However, there are pockets of that in California already. We just saw 653 short sales were on the CRMLS just a few days ago. A lot more in San Diego than I thought. Not a lot altogether, but it went from 2 to 20 something. There were serious amounts in Riverside and San Bernardino, from my perspective. And I think we know that in the area, there's who are the people that are getting stuck right now. It's the people that had their homes for a long time and took out refinanced along the way, and now things are down, maybe because of builder prices in your area. And there's people who bought within the last 3 or 4 years that are really having to make decisions. And let me just say that I know lots of people online blame realtors for the prices going down. It's just like, it's not the market, it's the realtors' faults. And let me tell you why it's sort of true, but sort of not. What happens is, when you start seeing short sales, you're going to see homes around you come on the market, and the realtors are trying to get offers. So they're going to make the home pretty well priced. Sort of standard decisions, but those prices stay on the market longer. They get offers, they put the short sale package together, and they give it and they provide it to the lenders. And the lenders generally take a long time to consider it. Now, at first, I know I'm speaking from absolute experience here. My website was upsidedownrealestate.com, and the California Association of Realtors had me train realtors on how to negotiate short sales. So what happens is, if the prices are softening, those buyers aren't sticking around because they don't want to. First of all, many they just want to wait. They'll put in their offer and they'll move on, see if they get a better deal. But if the prices are going down and they had an offer in at 3 months ago prices, they're not going to do that deal. So they walk away. So now the realtor needs to put other buyers in front of the lender. As if the foreclosure timeline, if the realtors didn't have rules back then, but if there's no lawyers on the team, they may not be stopping the dual tracking of the foreclosure. So the realtors absolutely know they need to be able to put another buyer in front of that lender immediately. So they start fishing for buyers, and they're doing the right thing for their sellers most of the time. And by fishing for buyers, how do they do that? They make the short sale look really attractive. They bring in buyers for their own, and then they also get to help those buyers find homes. So the short sales in your market will likely drive prices down, and you don't want to be part of that. You want to make a decision soon. So let me just finish this off. So realtors come in, they're driving prices down with the price. They're doing the right thing for their sellers, but the buyers come along, see the competition. They're like, I'm not buying that house, because when that short sale establishes the new price, I'll be hurt financially immediately. So what happens is, the sellers and their sellers' realtors, the ones that can sell immediately, they have the cash, they have the equity to sell immediately. Those sellers are faced with a choice: either become the best priced home on the market right now, or close to it on a value basis. So instead of holding out for what they really want is 100,000 more, they're like, if you want to sell, you're going to have to sell here. And at first there's resistance, but eventually it happens. And that is a domino effect that crushes the market. And I don't know how it could be stopped other than doing the same things they did the last time, which would be give tax breaks to people buying, or really, like, obviously, if interest rates go down to 3% again, there'll be a lot of buyers coming into the market. So what I'm saying is that you can't fight the Fed. You got to go with the Fed. If you think the Federal Reserve is going to lower interest rates for Donald Trump based on the news lately, interesting. I don't know. I'm saying I don't think I would bank on, for my own money, I don't think I'd bank on the Federal Reserve lowering interest rates. And there could be other things that save it. But just know that, in my opinion, the market could be getting softer, and it could be happening for a while. And the one other point, there's 2 other points. Kevin O'Leary recently pointed out that the younger generation is unlikely to bail out the older generation of the price of these homes. I didn't even watch the video. A realtor I was talking to about this, But if you think about it, at the moment, their income streams aren't going to be able to buy up all these houses. So there's a little weakness guaranteed. Like I think we could be in this kind of market really back to a more normal market with normal amounts of foreclosures and short sales for a very long time. And then if the AI, and I realize we're starting to know AI might not be as risky to jobs as we thought, it might take longer, but we might be at peak economy. And we better hope like the world of Star Trek comes in where we have unlimited energy. Like we better hope for those fusion guys to really be able to make unlimited energy. And rather than still selling it for almost, because they put in a lot of research for almost the price of energy, that somehow energy just becomes super cheap. AI gets to do a lot of work and everybody's standard of income could go up, other than I guess the people who own the free energy, who will be the more equal than others crowd. So those are risks. I don't know when they're going to come about, but what I want to do now is explain what I saw in the last market so that you're not one of those people. There are the people, because that was a really extended downturn and a really wiped out equity. People who said, I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't act because I was concerned about taxes. Well, there's a pretty simple way to deal with that for you all. First of all, you got capital gains. Talk to someone who understands capital gains. Realtors can't advise you on it. This is part of the impetus for this video today, is that I was talking to someone who's selling a home. They got a 1.1 capital gain, and their realtor hadn't even talked to them about capital gains on this house or on their rental property. They didn't have an advisor who went back and recaptured depreciation, which is the right way to do it. So they have a $300,000 bill that even their accountant wasn't treating well, in my opinion, based on the facts he was telling me. And now he's dealing with a capital gain. And I know him. He's from kid sports. And I just don't understand the allegiance to the realtor in their area. That those allegiances make sense in up markets. Mistakes can be made up by prices going up. Mistakes in down markets and risky markets, absolutely unacceptable. And to protect the realtors, everything, and I'll show you in the video in this series, the short sale listing agreement says these are all your issues, these are all your problems. Talk to a lawyer, talk to an accountant. It's all over the place. Everything you're signing in a down market should be saying, talk to a lawyer, talk to an accountant, do your planning, because it's a very different market. Realtor mistakes don't get saved by prices going up. And they're so serious in down markets. So speak to your advisors. Many of us will do it for free, the initial consult, whether it's a lawyer or an accountant, just to let you know what the risks are and say, hey, do you want me to do the work, setting this up properly, and sequencing your options, then I'll charge. Or in my case, at upsidedownrealestate.com, in my office, we did close to 200 short sales. I referred out short sales all over California to the agents to do them and advise as a lawyer. I gave people walkaway plans. I charged sometimes, but walkaway plans, short payoffs, awesome in the beginning of the market. Deeds in lieu, the exact way to go in the beginning of the market, rather than do a short sale. For the vast majority of people who don't want to harm their credit, and they have a few $1,000s to pay for a lawyer to set the file up. And in my case, if we started with a deed in lieu, we weren't able to get you the results we wanted. So now it was time to do a short sale. We talk about when to start the short sale. And if I referred it out to a realtor in Northern California, I've done it in my office in Southern California, I'll return your deed in lieu money. So, I mean, you have a lot of options. You shouldn't be afraid to talk to an attorney and a realtor. Consider calling them up and getting a free consult. I mean, it's so important because things are so different. So now I sort of said, like, don't be a wait and see optimist. Don't say, I knew it, and you didn't discuss your biggest fear. Like, it could be taxes. Well, between capital gains and there's other things you can discuss, talk to an expert before you talk to a realtor. A good realtor will tell you, I can't tell you these things. You should talk to someone else before we list the property because there could be consequences. They might know them. I know. I work with, I know so many realtors just from sports too. Some of them had their clients call me up back in the old days. There are very professional realtors out there. Your realtor should be saying, hey, tax consequences, you're going to have a big tax bill because you have a lot of gains. Or watch out, if we go short, there's going to be problems. It's going to hurt your credit. You're going to have marks on your credit. Talk to a lawyer before we list. That's the type of people you need to put on your team. The ones who are putting your interest ahead of theirs in a down market. So we got the wait and see optimist. I'm saying deal with your taxes. Then I'm going to get to the people in the middle. The upside down, that's also easy. If your property is worth less than you owe, that, in my mind, just for the purposes of this, is straight up upside down real estate. There's lots of options, but it's very important to figure out whether you have recourse, non-recourse loans. That means, will you owe the bank the deficiency, depending on what happens. Just because a short sale could save you from those, only 40 to 50% of realtor negotiated short sales wound up at a short sale, and that was towards the end of the market. In the beginning, it was more like 15 to 25%. We're in the beginning of a market. You cannot count on your short sale getting sold. The banks might hold out for too high prices. The buyers might walk. So, short sales won, but you need to understand the whole series and how to sequence and leverage it to get your best results. So if your property's upside down, unquestionably talk with an attorney who knows what they're doing, and preferably an attorney who's also a broker, because that will access instantly. Like if you're starting to be near a foreclosure, the attorney can say, hey, look, even if you don't want to sell your property, there's reasons why we might want to put it on the market and give it a shot. So go to upsidedownrealestate.com, get a free consult with us. I'll explain your loan scenarios, your tax scenarios, and how to minimize or even protect against the risk of credit with the right sequencing. Short sale is rarely going to be the first thing you should do. So if you already know it, short sale is an option. It's a tool. It can help you achieve results, but it's not how I would start off most of the time. So now we're in the middle. We're in the people who have a significant margin between what they owe and their home selling price. So the price will sell for more than they owe, more than they'll pay in realtors, more than they'll pay in closing costs. So for those people, if you're going to move on, you should consider your capital gains issues, but more importantly, you should think about ways to get into the other markets in a way that you want to with the proper timing. And there's no reason to pay full realtor costs on a buy and a sell. Almost every realtor would be willing to help you sell your home at their normal rates and refer you out to a realtor in your area and say, by the way, my broker is going to get a referral fee for that, and I'd like to share it with you somehow, legally. I mean, at some point, you in a down market, you're not going to get as much as you thought. So you could probably make it up by talking to realtors who can be business people with you and help you with your planning. What you shouldn't do is say, I knew I should have moved. I should have just made it, and then be upset when all your equity's gone. Because that's possible. I mean, that could be happening right now in other states. And I know we felt invincible in California. I moved back here after having 4 properties in Florida, and they all went down. I had to go to I paid $70,000 at the closing table to come back to California. And nobody in California could accept the fact that we shouldn't be buying a home right now. They're like, homes always go up in California. I'm saying they don't always go up. Really determined if you'd be happy if you watch your equity go away. If you're okay with that, if your home is not a piggyback for you, it's like, this is where we want to live, I'm happy, then make that determination and say, yes, that's what we decided, it's okay. That way you won't be regretting later. Now, the final one, this is, I'm sorry, I opened the window and I think I'm a little allergic to something. This is the strategic workout. This is where I'm going to start the next part of the video series. I'm going to be talking directly to you all. I'm going to see if I can bring up, no, I can't. I'll do it in the next video. You may have already seen one of my videos. I showed where a seller only had a $5,000 deficiency, yet the realtor made $27,000 in real estate commissions. Now, why? And I don't know, because I found it on the net on a short sale experts website. Maybe the people just were insolvent. They didn't care. They wanted more time, and they were happy. And they're like, okay, I'll take the short sale. It doesn't matter to me anymore. I've already got my other house. We'll do a short sale, and you can make all the money. But what I'm saying is there's plenty of times people list their home. They get a 6-month contract with a realtor. They're trying to hold out here where they think they've got a cushion. If they get a price for that price, they won't have to go negative. And they just stalled and they waited, and it took 2 or 3 months, and the market was going down, and they get hurt. So it's that scenario. The people on the market are like, this is where the short sale prices are. If we want to sell a home, we have to be down there. And the market just starts going down, and they never recover. They started with equity. They didn't change their position, and now they're stuck upside down. Their realtor or the bank's telling them to stop paying on their loans. They do that. They're in the house for another 3 months while the short sale is being considered more lates, and then they wind up with that final legally settled in full, but for less than the full amount, or the equivalent statement, that one that says to every bank looking at you in the future, you did some sort of loan workout, and some of them consider it just like a foreclosure. Some did give breaks to people with short sales in the beginning, but by the end, most of the bank, well, I shouldn't say most, many of the banks didn't see a difference between a short sale and a foreclosure. So you're not necessarily going to benefit, and you got hurt by not acting soon. So what I suggest to you is you talk to an attorney who can set you up with a package for your realtor, and can probably maybe get paid a little bit from the realtor on the referral, but not enough to mess up your equity situation. But you need to basically I'm saying, do not sign anything more. Make sure you have in writing your listing agreement. You can get out at any time. When you start seeing offers and they're coming in low, you don't want to be there anymore. You want to work in another manner where, like a realtor who's got an equity protection program for you. So that in that equity protection, it says you can get out at any time if you don't like what's happening. But in the meantime, we will negotiate buyer agent commissions down and our own commissions down to the point where if we can sell your home and you don't have to go negative, we will. So let's say you only have 3% between the where the offer came in and what it takes to sell your home. Well, your realtor should be saying, I have 2 choices: not do the work, my broker won't let me, or I will peel down my commissions, and maybe I'll have the buyer pull down their commissions. And again, this is hard. They don't have the forms to do this anymore, but we'll peel down the commissions until we make sure you don't go upside down. To me, that's the most important part. I'm going to talk about that more in a few series about the equity protection program and the peel down process and why realtors might have trouble doing it. But you can definitely see an attorney who can help you with this. And it's really, really important that you don't get locked into a contract that turns you into a short sale that didn't need to be. So definitely consider all your options. So you can go to upsidedownrealestate.com and set up a free consult with me. If you're seeing this on Facebook, just you can DM me consult, or you can, if you're seeing some of the ads for the series, you could just fill out the form. You can hit learn more, and a form will come up, and we'll contact you about setting up the consult with you. And it's free right now. While you're seeing these videos, they're free. Thanks. Talk to you later. Bye.